Hey there, thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Ann Perry. I'm a professional numerologist, and I have a wonderful guest with me today, Lana Grant. How are you, Lana? Good to see you.
I am great. I'm excited to be here to kind of chat a little bit about our upcoming trilogy mastermind series.
Too exciting for words. We've been planning this for a little bit of a time now. So we've got a three-part trilogy of master classes coming up for you guys in the Clarity Seekers community. The first one is actually going to be hosted on Wednesday, July the 10th at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Um, Lana is going to be talking about command cell therapy and the healing vortex. So Lana is actually a rapid transformational therapist, right? And boy, does she pack a punch when she helps you out in any kind of healing modality you choose to engage with her. It's amazing. She's a clinical hypnotherapist. She's a transformational breathwork coach and a 9D breathwork facilitator. I think you're one of two east of Montreal. Is that correct?
I was one of the first 20 in the world.
Wow.
I was the first one to bring it to Canada, and
Oh,
I'm still the only one in Nova Scotia. And then I helped integrate. There's another team that work out of New Brunswick, and
yeah.
I think they've also integrated a couple of people from there as well. So we're trying to get this out there because it is one of the most powerful modalities. Hypnotherapy and breathwork literally are the backbone of the greatest healing work that I'm able to help people activate within themselves. It's a powerful, powerful, dear friend.
Amazing. And the whole theme, I mean, it works so well with what we've got going on in the Clarity Seekers community because everything we do is designed for the purpose of self-healing, self-empowerment. It's returning back to self. It's taking back your power and becoming who you intended to be right from the get-go before you got a little bit railroaded, right? Life does
Right.
that.
Yes.
So, I know that we talked about this earlier about the fact that each one of us has a story that sometimes catapults us into our life's work. I know I certainly have one, but your story is so much better. So, can you share with me just briefly how you got into this line of work? What was it that kind of launched you into going into hypnotherapy?
Sure. And you discount your story. Your stories are pretty great. I've heard your stories. They're pretty awesome. I like it. And everything happens to put you in the place you're supposed to be, right?
Yeah.
And so back in 2012, closer to 2013, I found my way to a diagnosis of a pituitary brain tumor that was boring space in the base of my brain. Well, when the doctor delivers that kind of news, you're just kind of like, oh, mic drop for a moment. I
Wow.
was living, what I thought was my best life. I was touring. I just had launched a cookbook. I just launched my like seventh album or something like that. And I was like, things were cooking. And then this happened. And then my world changed. And so what happened was I really took a deep look. When you look at your life and you think that you're not going to have much of it, you
Wow.
really decide what separates the cream and the milk here because you are taking this deep dive into, okay, I have to really get real with myself here. Am I happy? What am I doing? What's out of alignment? And I've always had gifts. And I mean, I've told you my story before about my great great grandmother. She's used to be the Western medicine woman on the Western South Shore of Nova Scotia. My whole family are kind of witchy, like we do
Oh,
the kind of deep knowings. My sister's an incredible psychic. Both of us have deep intuition that we use our gifts for our healing kind of modalities and group work and breath work and all those things. But when I was given this news, I was like, oh my gosh, like, what does this mean? So, what it meant is that this was the start of a pilgrimage for me, that I was to learn something incredible. And what I didn't realize at the time, the journey that I went on, all the things that I learned, I studied, I soaked in, I trained in so many modalities. That's why you say it's like hard to list all my stuff because I just literally went on this deep dive. And then I found hypnotherapy because I was looking for something as I was progressing away from the tumor. Every year it was getting smaller and smaller and smaller. And I was like, okay, now that I'm in alignment, I got rid of the husband. I got everything aligned up. I got into my life work, my life purpose. And then that's when the brain tumor decided to leave. And it was a
Wow.
beautiful story. The surgeon even says, like, this, I don't understand how this is happening. And so what I said to him was that because I healed myself from the inside out, because I found why it arrived. And then I worked to get everything back into alignment and come back to the best version of me. But that best version of me realized along the way is I had to be shown this journey so that I can help other people find their way through this path as well for themselves. That realignment, that releasing, that letting go of stuff, that looking at how you're connecting and speaking to your body, all of these things. I didn't realize at the time that I was doing hypnotherapy, that I was doing all that before I even knew what it was. So when I went to find, I just called in my angels. I was like, okay, tell me, what is it? Where am I supposed to look to help people find this as a tool that makes sense for other people? Because people need anchors, right? You need like numerology, you know, just it has a path to it, like a structure. People need a little structure to it. So I found my way to hypnotherapy. I studied with Marissa Peer. She's the top hypnotherapist in the UK. She is incredible, and I had a wonderful experience with her and her learning process. I've studied with two other hypnotherapy coaches in the States as well for different styles, but I always keep coming back to the rapid transformational therapy. So as I moved through the journey and brought in hypnotherapy into my world, I started to see that I was able to help people get to where I got to. What took me 5 years was taking people a month. It was taking people instant after I've had a session with them, depending on what program they ran with me. You know, I always have the extended program. So I was just like, okay, this is amazing. This is my path. This is why I had to go through it. And then I brought in breath work. Oh my God.
Yeah. Amen to
I was
that.
like, I was looking at something as a little compliment, because once you learn out why these are happening, that when you go back into hypnotherapy and find out the root cause of why something's happening, then you still realize that sometimes you want to, you know, just clear out the dust bunnies, you know, you have some things that you want to get rid of too. So that combination has been incredibly powerful for me. One of the things, the first set of in the Trilogy Masterclass series that we're going to be doing, and next, the July 10th is going to be the first one. We're going to be running people through, I'm going to be running people through what's called command cell therapy. And command cell therapy and healing vortex are not regression based, but they are almost like the network of intelligence system in your body that we're going to be kind of showing people how to maneuver the command so that they can return themselves back to origin coding. So that's what my tool is that I'm going to be using for that masterclass. A little bit to showcase how powerful. Listen, if I can heal a brain tumor, the board space in my brain, what is it in your life that you're just letting lay in there or not address or just existing and not living? What is it that's in there for people? Right. So let's look at that. Let's go into that. I'm super excited to bring this to your community.
Amazing. And so that's week 1. So I got to tell you guys that when I asked Lana to come and speak, I really was thinking 9D breathwork is why I kind of invited her. And she said, no. We got to go big or stay home. Right. It's true to Lana fashion. Yeah. So it's all or nothing with you. So you're the one that said, ooh, I'm feeling I need to do a trilogy. I'm like, all right. Right. So that's part 1 of the trilogy. Then we move into part 2, which is about past life regression therapy, which is really cool because we've never really done that. We've done some Akashic record reading exploration in the Clarity Seekers community, but we've never really done a past life regression. So tell me more. This is going to be happening on Wednesday, August 21st at 7 p.m. Eastern.
Yes. So we thought this is an area of real interest for hypnotherapy. There's a lot of people that come to me for their clinical work, and they're like, oh, I'd really like to do past life regression. Now, always usually what I'll say with that is like, let's work on your current state of being and see what we can align here first. And then, you know, sometimes it comes up naturally within a session, but generally speaking, I love doing the past life regression as part of like my retreats or group work like this, because it is kind of a little bit more gratuitous, right? So it's a nice way to kind of take a deep dive look because we do carry a lot of things with us. We carry, even in our own bodies, 14 generations of ancestral trauma. You realize, like, maybe you don't like cherries and you don't know why you don't like cherries, but 13
Yeah.
generations ago, you had a grandmother that hated cherries, and all of a sudden you have this, aversion to cherries. No, you don't know what happens in and around that. So going
Yeah.
into the past life, it's so curious. There are little nooks and crannies that something might be coming up in your life that you're like, I don't know where this is from. I should have
Yeah.
nothing. I should have no trauma. I don't know why this is bothering me. All of these things, So it's such a fun way to kind of use your subconscious and use your soul print to kind of go back into the archives, into the Akashic records of sorts, and to kind of take a glimpse at it, see where it takes you. It's, we usually try to get back and to give you like 2 or 3 goes at taking you back. We'll usually try 2 or 3 scenes. And I'm really excited to do this with your group because they're so open-minded and
Oh,
they're
they are.
so
Yeah.
engaged.
Oh, yeah. No, they're keeners for sure. Absolutely.
We like keeners. I like keeners.
Yeah.
They're good to work with.
Yeah. We're a keener tribe, that's for sure.
Yeah, no, it's good.
And then after we've gone through that, then we go into September 11th, what a magical day, September 11th at 7 p.m. Eastern. We're going to be doing a 9D breathwork event. I've done them live with you, but to do them over Zoom, is that even possible?
Yeah, so hypnotherapy and breathwork are both equally as effective online as they are in person, which is amazing. But
Yeah.
when you think about it, you have your headsets on, which I recommend wearing when we do these journeys, is to wear your headset. Listen, your hair is not going to look pretty, but you're going to have your eyes closed anyway.
Yeah.
So it's not good. But you're going to put the headphones on, and we're going to really keep it to your own journey, your own experience. And so having that kind of moment, going from the hypnotherapy, getting command of your body, moving it into the power source that you are, taking back that power, looking back at your past life and reflecting, and then going into the 9D breath work, which again, easily replicated online because you're going to be having your headphones on. We're going to be bringing you back to the origin, back to the version that you were destined to be, that you are meant to be in alignment with. And I feel like that's such a perfect way to end the trilogy of that. Kind of clean house and then come back to you.
I think it's amazing. I feel too that as I'm sitting here listening to this and contemplating the date and whatnot, I feel like the timing of this is really, really good. Yeah. Because as we go, we'll be doing this in September. As we move into October, numerologically speaking, we're going into the shadow side of the upcoming year, right? So right now we're in an 8 universal year, which is about abundance and your own personal power and dealing with your money issues and all that kind of stuff. But as we start shifting, coming into October of this year, we start shifting into the 9 vibration. 9 vibration universally, right? Because 2025 adds up to 9. So the 9 is going to be about releasing and letting go of all the junk in your trunk. So what a wonderful way to prime us, to get us ready to be able to dive into 2025 with more gusto, right?
I know. I'm super excited by it. And I love that. First off, I think I'm an 11. I think we talked about this. I'm an 11. So we're doing this on the 11th of September, which I love the 9 and the 11 coming together. Yeah. I feel like your community are really going to embrace this in such a big way. If you've never experienced hypnotherapy, I'm not going to make you dance like a monkey. I'm not going to ask for any bank cards. I don't have the lotto numbers. I'm all good. But what we do is ask you to go back into and both with breath work and with hypnotherapy, we're dealing with a different part of our mind. You and I are talking on a conscious level right now. Right. When I'm talking with you for hypnotherapy or breath work, I'm speaking to your subconscious mind, and that's who drives your ship. So when you give the commands to your body, you want to make sure that you're giving these commands very constructively and very purposefully, because you don't want to, just like we said in a previous promo we had done, is that, have you ever said, oh God, I can't stand this, or oh, I'd rather die than go do that presentation. Next thing you know, you end up sick in bed, or you have plantar fasciitis in your feet because you just can't stand something. So your body listens for it. It's not I say your body's a crime scene. So it's a crime scene because it's very specific to whatever's hurting in your body is always correlated to something that's emotion based within your body.
Yeah.
So it's not there to be obscure. It's literally showing you where it's sitting. Like if, for example, if it's in your stomach, okay, what are you holding on to? What
Mm-hmm.
are, those self-esteem issues, the grief, the frustrations, all those different things. We're kind of we're not paying attention to the signs,
You know
right?
what? I so get that, Lana, because I remember in 2016, I was in Toronto and I had an emergency gallbladder attack, and it was bad. It was really bad. And all I could think of was, I've got to get back to Halifax somehow, right? So that I could deal with it there. And somehow I managed to get back to Halifax. They put me through emergency surgery. They didn't just kind of wait it out. They said, it's bad. We got to take this out. So they took it out. And I remember the surgeon coming to me afterwards saying, how could you possibly not know how sick you were? I'm like, I'd never had a gallbladder attack. I didn't know what that was like. She said, but you had to know you were sick. She said, there was gangrene in your gallbladder when I took it out. It took me 2 hours to get your gallbladder out.
Wow.
That's something. And I remember sitting in the hospital, and I placed my hand over where my gallbladder used to be,
Yeah.
over the incision, and I asked, and I said, why did you have to leave in such a hurry? And honestly, I don't often get, the downloads really fast, right? It takes me a little while to get them, but it was like, boom. And the answer was, because you weren't listening. And I thought about
Mm.
that, and I started thinking about, hey, you know what? You're right. I was taking Tums, antacids every night before I went to bed. Well, who's going to go to the doctor because you're taking Tums every night? Like, whatever, it's just what it is. And some other symptoms and such that were kind of precursors to what I went through, but I was not listening, right?
Mm. And it will
So,
poke you harder and harder and harder. And the gallbladder, that's where we hold some serious stuff, like
oh
some
yeah, the
lots of
business.
anger,
Yeah,
little frustration in there. It's just, there's kind of an unjust factor. So it's one of those things where, I can see, and it does. So if you're getting little signs now and you've already then, you pay attention to them, great. But if you're getting big signs now, think
yeah,
about the timeline. Think
yes,
about how that came through to you when you started getting those messages. It's so relevant. So one of the
yeah,
things, Anne, about the command cell therapy and the healing vortex, it's about teaching you the power you have within your body. We use like the smallest percentage of our brains, the smallest.
mhm,
We have so much infinite power. I healed a brain tumor in my own body
yeah,
with my words and with my alignment and getting rid of things that were not meant for me, not serving me, and getting really honest and really clear. And it was hard. Like, I'm not going to lie to you. Like, I had to leave a marriage. I had to, uproot my life. I literally walked away from everything in my life to find myself.
right,
And so if you're getting, and I always want to remind people, if you're stuck because of stuff, if you're stuck because of outside stuff and your internal side is suffering, how is that scale working for you? What is that,
right.
So there's so many. I'm so excited to help people realign and get back into, let's take command of ourselves. Let's take command of our language. Let's take command of the visuals we're giving ourselves and get back to the power horses that we are. We are destined to be great, but we are settling for less.
So the first part of this trilogy is about dealing with the present, what's going on right now, and listening to our bodies and tapping into it. Then when we go into our second part of this, that would be Wednesday, August 21st at 7 p.m. We're going to be doing the past life regression, which is fishing for more clues as to why you might be behaving the way that you are, why you have belief systems the way that you do, why you experience fears the way that you do. And then the grand finale, of course, September 11th is when we do the breath work, when after we've discovered all this crap, the trunk
Let
full
it
of,
go and get rid of
yeah,
something.
right, the trunk full of junk. That's when we kind of open up the trunk and dump it out
Yeah.
so that we can set ourselves up to be able to move forward. I'm just so super pumped. This is going to be amazing.
So our bodies are hoarders. Like, you think you have a lot of stuff in your closet, which maybe might be a sign for you that you might need, or somebody hearing this might need some decluttering. Not you personally, Anne. I'm not pointing fingers. But one of
Don't
the
open that
things
door.
is, yeah, no, yeah, literally. But one of the things is this is a decluttering process, right?
Yes.
So this is coming back to yourself. Is all of these layers that we put on ourselves, these burdens, self-imposed. We make our own beds.
Yeah.
You know, there was one of my dear friends, Chrissy and Eddie. He just released kind of a cover song that he did, and he went through this epiphany journey, and he realized the whole time he was hating his life, damn, I was making that bed that I was sleeping in. And it's just unbelievable when we have that. It's so clear. And we're just like,
Yeah.
how did I not see this before? So let's
Yeah.
open the blinds. Let's air out the spaces. Let's get rid of some of the stuff and
Love that.
get you back to your best version of yourself. Because, you know, if you're just existing, moving along, and sometimes we can fool ourselves with external stuff.
Hmm.
And, you know, because I was, like I said, I was living my best life that I thought when all this stuff happened with the brain tumor. But then I realized that was a house of cards, you know? And
Reset.
so, yeah,
Yeah.
and it just,
Yeah.
so I'm excited to bring your group through the command cell therapy and the healing vortex, because it really is using your internal intelligence to create your own empowered wellness. So
Amazing. Amazing. Well, you know what? I'm super happy with my group and where it's gone, or where it's come from and where it's going, where it is presently. And we only bring in top-notch speakers, you being one of them, of course.
thank you.
So it's our pleasure to share space with you. And for those of you who are not members of the community, by all means, check out. I'll post the link up here, but check out the Clarity Seekers community. You're going to see when you go to the website, you'll be able to see what's coming up too. All kinds of events that are coming up. But this I just think was very special. We don't often do sort of a preempt kind of a thing ahead of the classes, but I really felt this was really special and worthy of spending a little bit more time with, because I want people to understand that it's just not a one-shot deal. It's not Lana just coming in and yakking about whatever. There's actually a method to this. There's actually an intentional method to where we're going to start and where we're going to finish. So I personally have experienced recently a live event with you and your sister Sherry, and mind blowing, absolutely mind blowing. Everything these guys do is top notch. I mean, it's go big or stay home, giving it their all. And likewise, even with the the treatments that you offer, the sessions that you offer, they're all very unique, and they're very, even in a group experience, I find that both you and Sherry have the way of making it a very personal, intimate experience. Whereas you just feel seen, you just feel heard, and every one of the sessions I've ever attended has been mind blowing. And if you don't feel it right in the moment, you're going to feel it sooner or later. It'll creep up on you. So thank you for that.
Sometimes it is. Sometimes you may leave the session and, like you said, which is interesting, you're like, I don't know what kind of difference that made. And the next
Yeah.
thing you know, 2 days later, you're like processing something, or something you feel so different, or you're unaffected. What I like to one of the words I use a lot is disinterested. Things that would flare you up previously, all of a sudden something will happen again, and you're just like completely disinterested because it doesn't trigger you.
Doesn't have the power over you.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
just note that everybody burns a little different with the remedy. And
Mhm.
so just let it soak in. Let it come through you. Sometimes we have a few layers of the onions for it to get underneath before you can really kind of see the benefits. But just know that when you do the work, when you show up for yourself and you commit to engaging with that language, that effort, the desire to be the best version of yourself, your body is primed to listen to you. It is ready it wants better instruction from you.
I think too, though. Well, I also feel though that there's some strength in the fact that this is a community-based event, and I really do feel that everybody attending gets the value. You just like when you do when we do our oracle circles and we're pulling cards for one another, everybody's benefiting from that message, right? So when we gather as a group for the purpose of healing, we're all getting the benefit, right? So it's a collective.
I love group energy stuff. I mean, you do a lot, you've seen a lot of the stuff we do, but I literally use the energy of the room to our advantage. Because all that activation energy is just like, we hype it up. We just, kind of use that to generate. So when we're working in group, that energy is collectively stimulating for everybody. And I think that's so powerful, which is really amazing. Now, having individual sessions versus group sessions, they are different, right? So when someone comes to me for individual sessions, I only run 4-week packages with my hypnotherapy, because I do believe sometimes with when we're very structured and going in for very specific things, sometimes people need a little bit more guidance
Right.
afterwards. But the group ones are meant to, use the group energy and process there. And if you need some additional processing help afterwards, like just to reach out.
Yeah.
I offer lots of options with journeys, group, online, in person, all those
Yeah.
things. So you're not left hanging. There is options out there that you can, reach out for afterwards. So
And so there's something very exciting coming up in November, I heard.
oh yeah, so we have just launched our next women's retreat, and Anne was so gracious to be a part of our one in May, where we did. Oh, that was so much fun. We had such a blast that weekend,
Yeah, we sure
and
did.
oh, I love that group too. Like they're a beautiful group of people, and some of them are in here, so they might be watching this too. Um,
You know it.
but the one in November, we're going to be taking over Lunenburg, and we only have 30 spots. Well, 27 really, I guess. But and we've taken over the whole Lunenburg Arms Hotel. We have the entire hotel for ourselves, and we've curated incredible menus. We're doing something called the pop-up choir. So I brought a choir instructor in, and we're going to be creating a choir from our retreat one night after supper. And we have practice tracks that we can learn ahead and lyrics, and we're going to come together. It's kind of like the big sing, but our own version of it. And yeah, we've got this spirit social where my sister and I will be delivering guided messages after one of the other dinners, and grounding. It's just, it's so fun.
And we had people flying in. I mean, this isn't just restricted to people in Nova Scotia. We had people coming in from Toronto. We had people coming in from Florida. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, I
So
have a few from Europe talking about it right now,
awesome.
as we develop our international alliances for some retreats that we're looking at. We actually have some people that want to come this direction for it.
Yep.
And yeah, so I mean, I feel like you should build the life that you love. And that's where my alignment was for me. And I really want to help you, whoever is watching this, whoever is going to be taking part. I want you to find your way to building the life that you love, because anything less than that is settling. And we have one shot at it this time around. So why not give the best that you can?
And I want to have a whole bunch of good stuff to take with me into the next one. So I got to get it right this time.
Exactly. And what's funny is that sometimes you don't realize what you have till you think you might not have it. So the ranking were really, that board space really gave me that clarity, and I live with the greatest passion in my life because of that. So look at the things not showing up to hurt you. The things show up to help you, just like your gallbladder, right? But we have to pay attention, and we have to get better with commanding our body and our mind to optimize for ourselves. So I can't wait. I'm so excited about this trilogy series.
Me too.
Awesome things, and help people do awesome things for themselves, because the work is yours. I am just the guide. The work is yours.
Exactly. Well, I look forward to doing the work.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Lana. I really appreciate you being here today. And for anybody who wants to check out Lana's offerings and all her upcoming events and things, check out lanagrant.com. Likewise, if you're interested in joining us on the 9th, did I say? I have to keep looking at that every time.
I think it's the 10th, that's, where is it? July 10th and the 21st and September 11th.
Thank you. Thank you for being on top of that.
No worries.
I promise to be there.
But
I do look forward to you guys being there with us. If you'd like to consider exploring the community, you can do so on my website, AnnePerryNumerologist.com. And right at the very top, it shows Clarity Seekers Community and gives you all the information that you can possibly need. So we look forward to seeing you there. Thanks, guys. We'll see you soon. Bye for now.
Thanks, Anne.
Thank you.